4 videos that we put up since we last talked about putting up videos. One is the music video for 𝗵𝗂𝗾𝗶𝗴, which was another one that did very well. Was that in our EP?
Yes.
We have an EP on Bandcamp that you can go...
Yeah, we haven't actually talked about that, have we?
Oh, I guess we haven't, so let's talk about that. So, we have all of our original music up on SoundCloud where you can listen for free. But we also have started a Bandcamp page where you can buy high-quality downloads of our music. And the first EP is up now, has 5 songs?
I think 5 now, yeah.
5 songs, including this one, 𝗵𝗂𝗾𝗶𝗴𝗃.
Yeah. And just to talk about Bandcamp for a second, is one of the things that we've been, I mean, we don't have enough viewers or anything to really worry about, like, do we start a Patreon? Do we open up what is one of those tiny press, make t-shirt, coffee
cafe press,
cafe press things, like, because everyone does that.
How do we monetize?
Yeah, how do we monetize that? I mean, we're certainly not big enough where, I mean, even if a makeup company is coming to us for some kind of a head kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny how that stuff happens early enough where, like, yeah, 20 people watched your video from last night. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm going to ask people for money for that?
Yeah.
But that's what everyone does. And, I mean, we have logos, we can make t-shirts and stuff like that, but that seems kind of silly.
Yeah.
But I think now that we're moving into, like, we write all of our own music for all of our videos, and they can be put into short EPs. I mean, there's tons and tons of songs that we have on SoundCloud that you can listen to, but that we can organize them into something that is a monetized thing is definitely a new weird strange of like, oh, actually we have a product to sell.
Which I think when you start charging money for something, people do start to take you more seriously.
Right.
And selling an EP to me feels different than begging for money on Patreon.
Yeah.
Because an EP is a thing, whereas like I don't really feel comfortable. I don't feel like we need to. I don't want to. Just be so we can get a cup of coffee. Because we're making these videos because we love them.
And we're not against Patreon, and we're not saying that we're never going to do it. We have a Patreon, but we haven't done any work with it. So
but especially as we're turning a little bit more experimental. Not that the work is like experimental to watch, but for us, literally we are experimenting.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what do we want to say and how we want to say it and how do we do the distribution on it. It's kind of weird to be going like, hey, somebody give us money while we figure something out.
Yeah. And like...
Which is also why part of the reason of moving to China and only you working and that we figured out a way to like do our own experimenting without like actually having to like ask for any, and I'm not going to say beg, but like ask for money for other people to like fund this. Like we will be asking for money from somebody at some point. But in these early stages.
But it's also like fundraising for a mini-series that we've written feels different to me than like, hey, subscribe to our Patreon and we make videos whenever we feel like it about whatever we feel like doing. That's not a project to bankroll. That's just like a tip jar.
Tonight we might go to Hot Pot and we might make a video and we might bring it home and upload it for you to watch, and maybe you might enjoy that and give us a couple of dollars. Yeah. That's a weird thing for like, and like it takes work to do. But
gutsy salute to people who make their living that way. But philosophically, it's like, I don't live to eat, I eat to live. No, I live to eat, I don't eat to live. We make this because we set up a life where we can do this because that's what we want to do.
Right.
As I've said now several times to different people in my life, I figured out, like, no one's going to pay me to do what I want with my life. So part of moving to China is, like, it's easy to get enough money to then, like, spend the rest of my days and time doing what I want to do, which is all this.
Yeah, and it's not like a hack that we're unaware of, like, we are in a unique position of where we're from and who we are to be able to do this kind of life.
Oh yeah, it's totally lucky.
Yeah, but that choice of doing it makes for, well, we're going to foot the bill until we actually figure out with, I mean, the other thing, I guess, is that you have, if I'm just going to film us at dinner and ask if you want to give us money for watching us eat dinner, like, I actually spend a lot of time working on music that I'm really proud of, that I would rather you give me money for that.
That's a product.
That's a product.
I feel totally comfortable with that.
So as we move into, again, back to Bandcamp, is that next movement of like, oh, we're actually like making a thing now. We may have hundreds of videos on YouTube, and we haven't asked for any money for that.
Yeah.
Because we're just playing around trying to figure some stuff out.
Right.
But moving into an area where we're like, and a lot of this is thanks to the help from our friend Freddie Berger.
Thank you, Freddie Berger.
Yes, indeed.
Who was our first couple of dollars, yeah.
For the first EP.
He's our first profit.
He gave us like, hey, where do I give money? And we're like, well, we don't want to do this Patreon thing yet. Like, well, why don't we set up the Bandcamp stuff where we have actual songs where people can actually buy them and take them with them in their earbuds and live with them.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, okay, we're turning that corner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird place to be of like, where everyone else, I guess, is like, hey, somebody wants to give me some free brushes to talk about makeup.
To sell those brushes.
Yeah, to sell those brushes.
Not just because they like my face.
Yeah. It feels good to actually like, oh, we're doing it on our terms.
Yeah.
And we're getting a reaction for it. So
yeah.
That's how Bandcamp is happening. Thanks, Freddie Berger, again.
Yeah. And Squoze was the first song that you put up on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not the first song we made, but the first song to actually
go to Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was exciting. It's exciting. It's an exciting new direction. And the video itself is just extended footage of little Squoze.
Tons of little babies.
Oh, right.
Tons and tons and tons of babies in a quick, nauseating barrage of...
That's right. I do watch our videos, I promise you.